Well, good day. It is Thursday, October 29th. It is good to be with you again. I want to read this passage from Mark 9, verses 24. And perhaps you are familiar with this prayer. It says, "I do believe, help me overcome my unbelief." Now, that was a prayer or a statement made by the father of a demon-possessed boy when he approaches Jesus, and Jesus asks him if he believes. I do believe, help me overcome my unbelief. Perhaps you have found yourself praying that prayer at one point or another. Just believe, we hear. And if we were to boil down what Jesus stood for, all that he stood for, it could well be said that the one great theme would be believe. Over and over again, Jesus gives us the command, believe. Don't be afraid, just believe. Mark 5, verses 36. Believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Mark 11, verse 24. Just believe and she will be healed. Luke 8, verse 50. Believe. But we see that no matter where people heard Jesus saying these words, there was doubt. Everywhere he went, the question was asked, but who is he? Could he be the Christ? With some underlying doubt. Let's be honest, it is hard to believe. It's hard to believe when you're waiting for a biopsy result. It's hard to believe when the car breaks down and the repair bill is huge, and then shortly after an appliance gives out, and then followed by that, maybe another unexpected bill comes in the mail. It's hard to believe when your child faces some daunting physical challenge. It's hard to believe when you're facing some obstacle that you just feel so defeated by. And the average response to Jesus, even by those of us who know him, it would not be belief, but doubt. Just think, it's not so unusual, though. Even Jesus' closest companions, they struggled with doubt. Even after the disciples heard of his resurrection, they doubted. So what does Jesus do? Instead of rejecting them, telling them just to go away or just to dismiss them, he rebukes them lovingly because he knows so well our tendency to doubt. He knows when we will doubt before we know it. And he doesn't reject us when we doubt. Instead, he says these words, don't be afraid, just believe. But the difficulty of belief remains because there is a difference between what we can see physically and what we can't see. The physical that we can see and the divine reality that we can't really see, the spiritual reality. For what we see with a naked eye often brings despair. The child who is born with great physical or mental impairments, the broken marriage, the empty bank account. Just looking at these situations seems hopeless. But is that the entire reality? Is there more to the picture? Because what we see, what we physically see, is really only a snapshot. It's one frame of a moving picture. Because life is a moving picture. So what we see momentarily is not the whole story, the whole picture. Because there's the physical perception that we can see, but there's also the divine reality. And it is the divine reality that gives us hope. Divine reality is always filled with hope. So we ask the question, does faith or belief cure every problem we want cured? No. But just doubting will cure none of them. So then, is it better to believe and hope in God than to doubt and languish in despair? I say yes. Because God's plan, his divine reality, is concrete. It is unmovable. It is unshakable. And when we believe, the amazing thing is that God's power is released to us, is released to help us in ways he wants, even longs to help us. God's plan is always filled with hope and for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So that is what you might want to say is the ultimate reality. It's the physical perception we see with the divine reality that's with us. So I finish with this, asking you the question, are you struggling with doubt today? Are you doubting that God is even involved in everyday life on this planet we call Earth? Do you doubt that God is intimately involved in your life, interested in your decisions and who you are? Do you doubt that God is even powerful to cause much needed change and bring about much needed healing in your life or for a loved one? Do you doubt that there is even some sort of greater purpose for your life and that God has a plan for you? Well, let these words of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, reverberate in your heart and to be lodged deep in your soul. Do not be afraid, but believe. And then let's say with the father of the demon-possessed boy in Mark 9, I do believe. Help my unbelief. In other words, Lord, sometimes I wonder if you're really there. Oh, I do believe, but please remove doubt from my life and restore the solid belief in my life of your reality, of your divine reality. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Peace.